Today, we are going to talk about those sudden flashes of brilliance. You know, that magical feeling when a solution just clicks into place out of nowhere. We're going to dive deep into the psychology behind it, a process called insight learning.
We've all been there, right? You're stuck on something. Could be a tough riddle, a problem at work. Maybe you're just trying to figure out where on earth you left your keys. You try everything, you hit a complete wall, and then, bam, the answer just flashes into your mind. That's the light bulb moment we're digging into today.
So, what do we call this? Well, in psychology, it's known as insight. And this isn't some slow, step-by-step thing. Nope. It's that sudden, all-at-once kind of understanding, where a puzzle that seemed impossible a second ago is now crystal clear. It's that aha that feels like your brain just flipped a giant switch.
Now, this is absolutely crucial to understand. Insight is not the same as trial and error. It's not just, throwing stuff in a wall and hoping something sticks. It is a purely mental breakthrough. It's your brain literally reorganizing the problem from the inside out.
To really get where this whole idea came from, we've got to go back in time. We're going to meet the subject of the very first documented aha moment. And here's the kicker. It wasn't a person. It was a really, really smart chimpanzee. So, picture this. It's the 1910s. We're on Tenerife in the Canary Islands. A German psychologist, Wolfgang Kohler, is conducting some groundbreaking experiments. Now, Kohler was a big name in Gestalt psychology, which is all about the idea that we see the whole picture, not just a bunch of separate parts. He wanted to know if animals could think that way too. And this is where we meet the star of our show, Sultan. He was known as the sharpest chimp in Kohler's lab, and, well, he was about to make history. So Kohler sets up a pretty simple challenge. He hangs a banana from the ceiling, just high enough that Sultan can't reach it. Sultan tries jumping for it over and over, but it's no good. He is completely stuck. He's hit what psychologists call an impasse, a total dead end. But here's the thing. Kohler didn't leave him empty-handed. Lying around the room were some tools, a few boxes, a couple of sticks. The solution was right there in plain sight, but it wasn't obvious. Sultan had to see the connection between those objects and his goal. Now, just by watching Sultan, Kohler figured something incredible out. He realized that this aha moment isn't just a random spark. It's a process with 4 clear stages, and it's the very same process that goes on in your brain every time you have a breakthrough. So what are they? Preparation, incubation, insight, and verification. You can think of it like a recipe for a light bulb moment. Let's break down each one, seeing it all through Sultan's eyes. All right, first up, preparation. This is the grunt work. It's when you're actively trying to crack the code, gathering info, trying things out. For Sultan, this was all that jumping and failing. He knew he wanted the banana, but he just couldn't see how the boxes fit in, and he was getting really frustrated. That frustration leads directly to stage 2. Incubation. And this part is a real game changer, because after all that effort, Sultan just gives up. He literally walks over to a corner and sulks. But here's the crazy part. Even though he stopped trying, his brain kept working on it in the background, unconsciously. This is exactly why people tell you to sleep on it when you're stuck. You're letting your brain incubate. And then it happens. Stage 3. Insight. This is the magic. This is the eureka moment. Kohler wrote that Sultan suddenly leaped up like a light bulb went off over his head. In a single flash, he got it. He didn't see boxes anymore. He saw a staircase. It all just clicked. But of course, a brilliant idea is just an idea until you prove it works. That brings us to the final stage, verification. Sultan didn't hesitate. He immediately went to work, stacked those boxes one on top of the other, scrambled up his little tower, and finally got that banana. His insight was verified. It actually worked. So, a chimp stacking boxes is a great story, but what does it have to do with us? Well, turns out this same 4-stage process is happening inside our own heads all the time, whether the problem is big or small. And this really shows that massive difference we talked about earlier. Trial and error is a slow, painful grind. Insight learning, on the other hand, is a sudden leap forward. It's a total mental reboot of the problem. It's like fumbling in the dark for a light switch versus suddenly realizing the sun has risen. And you experience this stuff constantly. Ever spent 10 minutes looking for your phone only to suddenly realize you're holding it? That's insight. Or how about when you're messing with a tangled chain and all of a sudden you see the one move that will fix the whole thing? That's insight too. It's there when you solve a riddle or when an answer on a test just pops into your head.
Okay, so this is a really cool psychological trick our brains can do. But so what? Why is it actually important? Well, understanding insight is like understanding the engine of human progress itself. Seriously, insight is the secret sauce behind so much of our world. It's the spark for creativity, for scientific discovery. I mean, think of Archimedes shouting Eureka in his bathtub. It's what helps us find those clever, out-of-the-box solutions to problems in our everyday lives.
And this brings us right back to where we started, with Kohler and Gestalt psychology. That core idea, the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. Insight is what happens when we stop seeing the individual disconnected pieces, the boxes, the sticks, the banana, and we suddenly see the whole picture, the complete solution where everything fits together perfectly. So I want to leave you with a final, fascinating question to chew on. If that aha moment depends so heavily on the incubation stage, that part where we literally step away and stop trying, does that mean the best way to solve a really hard problem is to just stop trying so hard? Can we actually set up the right conditions to have these brilliant insights more often? That's something to think about.